common theme. I kind of always need a haircut when I do these, and whatever. But I don't want to come off that people can't be or aren't altruistic. But I guess bumping into somebody, I mean, we all see from reading the news, overhearing stories, internet, whatever your medium is, these extreme cases. But I bumped into one, and it really kind of revitalized my theory and thought of it. It's its own escapism. You know, I'm sure we'll know the stereotype of a 40-something-year-old loser who knows everything about Star Wars, but is a complete loser. Had they been thrown into the Star Wars universe, they'd be crowned King Jedi or whatever. You see that a lot with charity, and I guess it's a depressing and angering factor. You see more and more, like, we look at these things. Look at recently, you know, they had all the G8 riots, which I'm not going to get into the economics of it, but you look at the people there. They're not exactly economists. They're not educated in world trade. They're not anything more than angry and LARPing. It is, you know, they dress up like terrorists and throw things and complain about countries, and probably half of them can't name all 8 G8 countries. They'd even be surprised to hear there are 8, or it doesn't have anything to do with, I don't know. But what I guess I'm trying to say is I bumped into someone who was that stereotype, like, to a person, and they are out there. That's why these stereotypes appear. And I realized how much of that was their own escapism. That's why I use Star Wars. You can replace it with anything you want. Star Trek. Doesn't even have to be sci-fi. It can be Batman or whatever. But it's their escape from their own failures, and I think it's one of the most basic tenements in any sort of society, religion, culture, is you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet before you help somebody. So if you're on shaky ground, you really can't help hold somebody, because you're probably both going to fall. And it's just pretty amazing when you meet somebody who's in their 30s, quite literally on food stamps, and they're more worried about the women's education in Ghana than getting a fucking job. Not to say that it should be completely ignored, charity and everything, but leave that to the people that have their lives together. It's the harsh reality, too, is it's really easy to Google, you know, I don't know, the infanticide rate in Turkey. We're just picking a place. And then complain about it, because, well, complaining doesn't really take any work. But the other thing, too, is it's not a lot to get educated on that and then have some sort of feeling, when the reality is charity is a great thing if you want to take part in it. It should be rewarded in your own support, obviously standing, things like that, whatever. But it's a rich person's game and club, because you have to be supportive of yourself, your family, your community before you can help out others. And this is kind of like the person in the ghetto who buys a 10-year-old Mercedes and puts some big wheels on it. They're still living in the ghetto. Their life is a mess. They didn't buy that simple house, and they didn't save up to get out of the ghetto or get themselves education. It's just that cycle. But to the people that aren't able to see through this, it's, you know, you see that Mercedes and you're like, wow, this person's got their stuff together, even though they're living in a flop house, or whatever their other issues are. I'm just picking some of the easiest stereotypes to run with. But, you know, I want this, I don't think this is talked about, because it's, you know, you're being selfish, you're not caring about this, that, or the other. It's the automatic defense, when it's okay to laugh at somebody who talks about how they're going to be, you know, working with Captain Kirk when we get the spaceships and stuff. But, you know, make sure if somebody's out there talking about they're worried about this, that, the other, has no effect on them, anybody they know, they're a joke, laugh at them. It's okay to do it. I'm not saying bully people or be cruel, but, you know, a lot of these people that are doing this stuff, they're no different than the negative stereotype of basement-dwelling Star Wars fans. That's all they are. They just use altruism to protect themselves to being made fun of when they are that exact same loser. And really, they're losers. And it should be fair to say so, because I don't think it's okay to say, like, well, I like the good guys in Star Wars, so I'm clearly a good person. It's like, no, it's not real, you know? Screw that. And, you know, I'm sure people are going to say, oh, I'm just being mean to charity or this, that, the other. What I'm saying is take care of yourself. And I don't think that's some sort of crazy message. The fact that you should take care of yourself, your community, your family, your friends, first and foremost. Worst case, I'll even spin it. How's this? You're being leading by example, and there you go. I don't think anybody can really bash you for saying that you lived a good life and you led by example. And if people do, well, look where they are in their life before you let their judgments hurt you, because they're probably going to be the ones that telling you, while they're on food stamps, that you should be giving more money to the National Save the Penguins Society.